Hey, welcome to Wyld Homestead. My name is Isabella, and today we are inside the seed starting / my office / editing place. Welcome to the inside farm. This is Francois Valois, and he is my guinea pig. So if he squeaks, he's living his best life. Today we are going to talk about starting with chickens. The good, the bad, the ugly, all the things. So let's talk about how to pick the best type of chicken for you. All right, so when it comes to picking chicken breeds, you need to think about your space. You need to think about where you live. Now for us, we moved from Kansas to Arkansas, which means we needed something that was both cold tolerant and heat tolerant. It can get down to 15 degrees here Fahrenheit. I will do the conversion to Celsius on the screen. And we have what's called Hell Week lovingly here, which is several weeks where it is over 110 degrees, usually with 85 to 95 and even sometimes 100% humidity. For those of you who live in dry climates, that means it is very clammy. Like you walk outside, it's hot and it's clammy, even at 6 a.m. So we needed a chicken for that. Now, the other thing you have to take into account is what you want your chickens for. If you're running a vegan homestead or a vegetarian or plant-based homestead where you're primarily using your chickens for tilling up compost or digging up garden spaces ahead of garden planting season, then you're going to want things that free range. Now, what does that mean? Free range and foraging mean that your chicken that chicken breed will dig up the ground and look for its own insects, grass, crickets. Ours love grasshoppers. So when I was dreaming of my farm forever, what came to mind for me are Rhode Island Reds. I did not know that they were called that in the beginning. Here's a picture of them here. White Leghorns. I grew up in the era of Saturday morning cartoons with Foghorn Leghorn. Here is his breed here. Dominiques, again, I had no idea what they were called. I just knew that when I had looked at like old pictures of farms, this was the chicken breed. We're gonna get into some other breeds. There is the Orpington, the Welsummer, the Sussex, the Cornish Rock, the Barred Rock, and Dorking. Now, this is not a complete breed thing. These are just the chickens that came to mind for me originally when I was looking into farming and chickens. Now, for traditional homesteads and or those who eat eggs, there are some things you need to take into account. If you're going to both eat them for meat and eggs, you need what's called a dual purpose breed, meaning they are good for both meat production and egg production. If you are just eating their eggs, you're going to want an high egg production chicken. Now, when you're going into that, of course, chickens lay in a multitude of sizes. So there are chicken breeds that tend to lay medium size eggs, large size eggs, extra large eggs. So that's something to think about as well. Now, because we were moving from the north to the south, like I said, we needed something that was going to be heat tolerant and cold tolerant and that was going to have good egg production. Originally, we were not interested in meat production. We're going to get into that in a little bit. So for us, and I'm going to leave these in the description, it's not sponsored. I'm not an affiliate at this time. It's just who I use to research chickens. Is Murray McMurray Hatchery. They're out of Iowa. Cackle Hatchery and Hoover Hatchery. Those are the three big hatcheries that I know of in the United States. If there's another one that you know of, please leave it in the comments, because I'm always looking for new hatcheries to learn things and to get new different breeds, because as we'll get into, once you get into chickens, it kind of takes on a life of its own. Let's talk about Rhode Island Reds first. So the red chicken that I first showed you here, I've always wanted Rhode Island Reds, and when I got two of them. Their names are Lucy and Ethel. They're lovely. So let's talk about that breed. They are a production class breed, meaning their genetics are for production value. Now, they are one of the best egg layers, meaning they naturally lay eggs most of the year. Here's where we're going to get into lots of things you never wanted to know about chickens. Whether or not there is a rooster present, a female will lay an egg. That is part of their natural life cycle to lay eggs. So a Rhode Island is a dual purpose breed, but that was not why I got them. I really just got them because they were cute and fancy looking, in my humble opinion. Now, they mature at 18 to 19 weeks. They can take longer. Ours matured right at 19 weeks. So that means from the time you get it from a chick to 19 weeks, it is just growing. It will not produce. You are just feeding it. Now, they are fairly good free rangers. They will find their own food. Some of them are better at that than others. They do have a single comb. Now, combs are important, at least for us, because again, we can vary from 15 degrees to 110 degrees with humidity. So we needed a chicken that could regulate in the cold and the heat. Generally, if they have a smaller comb, they're really good in the cold, but a Rhode Island Red has a single comb. So right here on their head, they have a single thing. Here's some other interesting things. If you have a female with no rooster and you get what's called a broody breed, they will sit on their eggs. Whether or not it will hatch, they do not care. They're gonna mama those eggs. Now, Rhode Island Reds are not likely, there are some offshoots, there are some hens that are like, listen bubs, I'm hatching these eggs. But as a general whole, the breed is not very broody. They are an extra large bird. So when you're looking at predators, if you have smaller predators like weasels, foxes, raccoons, they're a big bird. So there's that. It's gonna take a little bit of extra chutzpah for a smaller predator to carry them off. They do have clean legs, so they do not have feathers on their feet. If that matters to you, doesn't to us. They have yellow legs and they are a yellow skinned bird. So they're gonna be like the normal color should you decide to use them in meat production as an in-store bird. Now, at full size, a male Rhode Island Red will generally weigh between 8.5 pounds and 6.5 pounds. So that's a pretty good sized bird. You're gonna lose some of that in culling, but overall, that is the Rhode Island Red. So let's talk about Welsimer. Now, I did not bring up Welsimer in the original list because I did not know that Welsimers existed. They lay speckled eggs, as seen here. I love these eggs. They don't taste any different, but there is something that brings me such great joy to bake food for my family and pull out these speckled eggs. Love them. Okay, so they generally lay dark brown eggs. Mine lay speckled eggs. There you go. It is a large egg again. They are decent at egg production. They are a good meat production. They're not going to be the best meat production birds. They are a little bit smaller than the Rhode Island Reds. They are docile though. So our chickens were handled when they were little, but as they've grown up, they really haven't been handled. However, if I walk up to my Welsimers, they will let me pick them up. They will not throw a fit. They're cool chicks. Cool chicks. Their names are Thelma and Louise, should you care. So then there are Orpingtons here. Our Orpingtons are Flora, Fauna, and Merriweather. They are beautiful birds. They're very big birds. They lay a brown, extra large egg. My Orpingtons produce a lot. Not as much as my Morans, which we will get into in a second. Again, they are good at heat tolerance, good at cold tolerance. They are great free rangers. I don't have an Orpington that'll sit. So as far as broody goes, my Orpingtons are not broody. Morans. Now, I have what's called a Black Majesty Moran. It's a hybrid bird. It is not a heritage bird. It was bred and crossbred with a bunch of birds. Mainly Morans and sex lynx, which is another type of bird. My Morans lay dark brown eggs. That is something that comes from the Moran line. All types of Morans, whether it be French copper Morans, a regular Moran, there are tons of them. They all lay dark brown eggs. Usually they are the darkest brown eggs that you can get out of a chicken breed. My Morans are not supposed to be broody birds. However, I have a Moran named Judy. We call her Big Booty Judy because her feathers are thick. And she has lots of them. And she is broody. She has hatched 2 clutches of eggs. The first clutch was a complete accident. Miss Judy was hiding eggs in the coop, and we didn't find them because we were new chicken people, and Judy hatched them out, and she was very protective of them, and so now we have mixed babies because we have a speckled splash rooster. We got Morans because they are high production value and they are dark brown eggs. Now, for egg production, we allow our chickens to molt naturally and take a break in the winter. It is very, very natural for when the amount of light goes down, that chicken production will go down. And we don't supplement our girls with additional light or heat lamps, so they just take that time off, living their best chicken vacation lives. Wyandottes. Here is a picture of a Wyandotte. Now, there are multiple types of Wyandottes. Mine, the ones I have, are silver laced Wyandottes. When I dove down the chicken breed hole, silver laced Wyandottes and blue speckled red Wyandottes are my absolute favorite Wyandottes. So I have Wyandottes. They are not the best egg producers, but they are gorgeous. They lay plenty of eggs. They lay about 180 to 240 eggs a year per chicken, which is decent. With a word of caution, chicken math is a real problem. If you are unfamiliar with the term chicken math, what happens is you start out like we did, getting 6 chickens. We got baby chicks, we got a brooder, it was lovely. We bought chickens before we had a coop. Do not do that. Please don't do that. I will just save you all the trouble. And now we are at 28 chickens. And we have chickens hatching. We had 8 chickens that hatched in the spring. And yeah, now we have 4 roosters. Frank was an accident. Frank came with our speckled splashes. And then 2 of our red chicks that are spring chicks are Fred and George. And George lives in a rooster chew. And then we have Bernie, who is one of my Wyandottes. We thought he was a girl, and her name was Bernadette. However, the other day, Bernie started rooing at me at about 6:30 in the morning. As soon as your chicken cockerels in the morning, then you know it's a rooster. So there's that. So takeaways, things you need to consider: how much space you have. Chickens need, I think it's 4 square feet. I'm gonna put that if it's incorrect on here, per chicken. So you need to think about how much space you have. Also, you need to look at where you live. If you live in the suburbs, like we did before, we could only have 4 hens. They could not be within 50 feet of our neighbor on either side, and we could not have a rooster. So you need to check and see if there are any rules about where you live about how many chickens you can have, and you need to make sure that you have ample space for the amount of chickens that you're getting. 3, you need to check your temperatures and make sure that you are looking for either cold hardy or heat tolerant types of birds. That way you're getting the best chicken for your area. 4, you need to look at what your goals are as far as having chickens are, and then find a breed that matches that. If you're just looking for them to dig up, you're gonna want to look for foragers and free rangers, and it doesn't really matter what their egg production is. You need to figure out what you're going to do with those eggs, whether it's give it away to a food bank, eat them for your family, preserve them. Make sure you have a plan with eggs, because like I said, we have 28 chickens, and at full production, we were not at full production last year, we have about 12 dozen a week. So it's a lot of eggs if you have a lot of chickens. On average, I would say that each chicken lays every other day, or every day. So at most, if you have 4 chickens laying 7 days a week, that's 28 eggs. And it just kind of exponentially grows from there. Sometimes they will lay it twice. It just depends on the chicken. So there you go. How to pick chickens. In the description below, there will be links to the hatcheries and the breeds and things like that. As always, if you wish to drop us a line, it's down there. We would be so appreciative if you would like this video and share with your friends who are getting into chickens. And as always, in the comments below, my question of the day is, what is your favorite type of chicken? If you do not know what kind of chicken it is, you can reference the hatcheries and or just tell me what color it is, and why you like it, because I always find what other people like in chickens so fascinating. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you next week here on the Wyld Homestead.